Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I just can't believe it's time for another wrap up and we are officially halfway through the year. Woo! I'll try to make this quick. I read 14 books in the month of June. Obviously it's a June wrap up, and I'll put my stats up here for anyone who's curious. And we will start off with the first book. This was actually part of my read with me for a week stat books. I did have it, so I did like it enough, but I was really skeptical, and I was really skeptical that it's going to be same font but different book, if that makes sense, that it's going to be the same. And I absolutely hated this one. I know. Listen, I could make a whole video about this book, I really could, but we're not gonna go there. Thankfully I did enjoy this one, and I did talk a lot more in detail about this one in the video. If you're really curious, you can go on and see my thoughts. Obviously I would have loved this one way more if I was younger. It was a little bit slow for my liking, and nothing super dark happens in it apart from like the very ending, where it's very abrupt. It, you know, just ends very suddenly, and you're kind of left with questions because there is no epilogue, there is no 5 years down the line, 10 years down the line. You're really left with huh kind of thing. But yeah, no tears were shed, so I mean, take it as you want. Now the next book that I read was Butcher and Blackbird, which is a dark rom-com, and this was my first time reading a dark rom-com, so I wasn't sure going in what my expectations really were. I was laughing, but it felt a little flat, in fairness, and I've seen people loving this, and I just thought it was okay in general. It felt a little flat, especially because over the 4-year period, if I remember correctly, the couple kind of meets up like once a year to do their annual little competition. Obviously they get together, it's a romance book, come on guys. But the whole point is, I was expecting a lot more unhinged behavior from them, and it's nothing like that because he's a chef. They have a good reasoning behind what they do, like they hunt bad people, and I was expecting like the most unhinged kind of thing. I think I've gotten a bit too far in the dark romance genre. Now, Same Time Next Year by Tessa. This one was really interesting. It was a novella, which I feel like that's the easiest way to go into other books, into books by authors that you're not entirely sure if you will like their writing style, if you like their stories. So this one I actually liked, surprisingly. I know, because Tessa I feel like writes super cringy, spicy books. The Summer Vacation, I just don't want to go into that book, because if I do, I will just not shut up about it, because it was just traumatizing. It was just so traumatizing. But this one I enjoyed. It was short, obviously a novella. The MMC in this had the biggest green flags ever, and she was okay, to be honest. She had her issues, but like it didn't make me want to rip my hair out, so I'll take it as a win. And he's a hockey player, and he's being shipped out back to his home country, Canada, because his visa is ending or something along them lines, and he needs someone to either marry him, which this is the case. She marries him so that he gets to stay in the States and to keep playing for his hockey team. What can I say? This definitely felt a lot more on the spicier side than I remember Meghan Quinn books to be. But the whole gist of the book is the FMC got fired from her job, and so she takes her own in a rich neighborhood looking for a rich husband. Raise your hand if you would be guilty for doing something similar along them lines. Guilty as charged. Lessons in Chemistry, absolutely love this one. I know not everyone loves a historical fiction book, but if you get it, you get it. If you don't, you don't. All I have to say is feminism is just the main topic of the whole book, feminism. I listened to this one on audiobook, and I think by far this is my favorite audiobook that I've listened to. Like, I was laughing out loud. I love this until that one point that happened, like something happened in the book, and I was just like driving, as I pretty much listen to audiobooks when I drive, and I was just like, uh-oh, no, don't do that to me. I could not believe something happened, and I was just like, no. Yeah, that was gut-wrenching. Now tomorrow I mean, listen, I thought the title of this was just so silly, but then it references, was it Shakespeare that references? I think so. And the quote behind it was so beautiful, to be honest, and I'll try to find the quote and either write it up here. But it's a heavily character driven book, and it's so much more than these college kids making a video game together. You get to see what a friendship of trees never really work. You see loyalties and priorities switch up, and just so much deeper meaning behind it, and I love it. And especially the story gets just so much more deeper and more complicated, and just by the end of it I wanted to cry. So I liked it. I really enjoyed it, even though I didn't think I would, so that kind of surprised me. Sanatorium. So I gravitated towards this book more so due to the setting in the book. I don't think I read anything similar to it, and I really enjoyed the writing style up until the very end, where I felt like the author just took the easy way out, and I was just like, oh really? Because I didn't really like the way that the things kind of tied up. I was just like, nah, are you kidding me? Now the next one that I read was really interesting. So I read Losers Part 1 and Part 2, and I feel like I just never learned, do I? The first one I kind of enjoyed. I kind of did. So this is dark romance books, and listen, I went into it blindly. I hadn't realized what it was. Listen, it's a polyamorous relationship. No. You're not hearing me. It's a polyamorous relationship. I've never read anything like it before. The first one, I kind of tried to look past all the spicy scenes, and there were a lot. The second one, now, there were pretty much every other page, and I was just like, no. Why? However, I did like the characters. I do tend to think that the second book in the series usually is better than the first. However, it's not the case always, and however, this was the case for this one, where the second one was worse. I think I kind of enjoyed the first one because there was a lot more happening in it, so you know, you got a little bit more of the plot. So you know, there was like car races, drifting, complicated relationships, a little bit of loyalty switching up. I felt like there was a little bit more in the first book. So basically it's multiple POVs, and I feel like the only interesting character that I really liked, well, at development, was Reed, which was Manson's father. And I don't know, he was just doing unhinged things, and he was just getting in the way. Did I hate him? Yeah, but he made the book more interesting. And then the next book that I read was Cinder. Actually, I listened to this on audiobook. The first time ever reading anything by Marissa Meyer. And no, it's really a retelling of Cinderella, but make it robotesque. I feel like I kind of enjoyed it, and I'm just hoping that the second book will be better. Then I read Daisy Hates the Great Undoing. Now, Daisy books aren't my favorite, but I'm a diehard fan of Magnolia books, and I absolutely love them to pieces. Like, they're my 6-star books, like they're the best of the best. And I think Magnolia Park's universe is probably my favorite series ever. That says a lot. Again, I didn't love Daisy's point of view in this, but I loved Christian's and Julian's, and this book made so much more sense now. Magnolia's books make so much more sense because of Daisy's, because you get the point of view from the other characters in the same universe. But I wish that there was an alternative ending for the Julian girlies, if that makes sense. That was my only thing. Then I read her book in the Red Queen series. Overall, it was good. Really slow in the beginning, and just wasn't my favorite because, like, I love Cal, and you only get to see a whole lot of action happening, I think, in the last 150 maybe pages of the book. So in that sense, it was slow, but thankfully it did pick up at the end, but not enough for it to be any higher of a rating that I think, because I feel like the series is dragging out. Then I read The Last Letter by Rebecca Yarros, and now this one really got me. I was expecting it to be a sad book, obviously. Well, I did not expect it to be just over the top. So, like, the author tried so hard to make this a sad book, and that's where the downfall was. I don't think the ending was necessary. That kind of ending, like, that was criminal. First of all, why was the FMC just so whiny, over the top? Like, oh, I haven't been with anyone in 7 years. Oh, I just I'm never so beautiful anymore. My legs are never shaved. I'm a mom now. Alright, we get it. We get it. I'm sorry, I just have such fucking beef with the book. And the other thing that really annoyed me about the book was her kids are 6 years old. 6. Why are the kids giving life advice and relationship advice? I'm like, I'm sorry, 6-year-olds aren't giving you life advice. They're talking about nothing in circles. I just would love to know what was going on through the author's head writing this book, because that wasn't it. It wasn't it. And then last but not least, I read Looking for Alaska by John Green. I haven't read a John Green book in, I don't know, maybe 10 years or something, like a long time. And it definitely got a lot more interesting in the after section of the book. There's a deeper meaning to it and everything, but I'm not sure if I loved it. Like, I thought it was okay. I like the relationship between the two boys, since it was set in college, but I'm just not sure if there's, I don't know, I don't think I really connected with it to that extent, so I thought it was okay in general. But yeah, that's all the 14 books that I read. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.